Thanks for joining us, everyone, for another episode of Inside IALR. Thanks for being here. So we have a fun one today. Almost 2 months ago, we had a new team member join. Tracy Fink is our new Vice President of the Institute Conference Center. So Tracy, thanks for being here.
Thank you so much for the opportunity to talk about our beautiful conference center.
Yeah, absolutely. So to start, we'll just preface, before you got here, you have big shoes to fill. Leslie Dobbins, who was our longtime leader of the conference center, retired earlier this year. She had been here for I guess a little over 20 years at this point, because that's about how long we've been open. She retired earlier this year, and then you stepped into this new role around 2 months ago, March. So tell us a little bit about sort of your background, your experience before you got here.
Absolutely. So I actually started right as soon as I got out of college. So my first job right out of college was for the Baltimore County Chamber of Commerce. And part of my role with that was to help plan things such as golf tournaments, seminars, conferences, big galas, things, different types of events. And I found that it really challenged me and really spoke to me. And so that kind of started my experience over the years with event planning. So the way my daughter, if you listen to my daughter, she says that I've been planning events since the 1900s. So I'll give you an idea of kind of how old I am. But I've been very fortunate through the years to be able to work for some amazing companies. I've worked for GE, doing a lot of their big events. I've also worked for hotel brands such as Hilton and IHG. And so I've been very fortunate to see all sides of event management, but also the logistics, the operations, the different sides that, events and hospitality in general have. And just fell in love with it. I'm a people person. I love being able to give guests just the best experience possible. And so this kind of a job fulfills me.
So, you talked about that previous career experience. What specifically about this position here leading the Institute Conference Center, what jumped off the page to you for that one?
Sure. What really interested me was the fact that it's one of the largest conference centers in Southern Virginia. And so what that means is, to people is that the opportunity to be able to do all kinds of events, whether it's a large gala or it's a big convention, we're able to do a little bit of everything, right? So that really spoke to me. And when I was going through the interview process and stuff, what really interested me was I wanted to play a significant role in the center's growth and the impact that it has on not only the local community, but also the regional economy. So that was really important and spoke to me. Once I became part of the conference center, what really impressed me even more was the staff's passion and commitment they have for their guests and wanting to not only have their guests have a good event, going above and beyond and making sure that it's a great event. And that overseeing all the expectations and surpassing those.
Mm-hmm. And that kind of leads into my next question of you had just, you mentioned that seeing the staff's level of commitment, that was something that's really impressed you. What else has stood out, or maybe what perceptions have changed since you joined the team versus when you were going through looking at the position?
Sure. So my perception really hasn't changed too much, other than it's just increased in the fact that, all of the staff, not only from a catering standpoint, from the event planning, from the sales, from all the operations side, everybody just going above and beyond and really making sure that the guests have the best experience possible.
And for those who don't know, walk us through real quick, sort of like big picture, what are the capabilities and selling points of the Institute Conference Center?
Sure. Well, the first thing is, obviously, we talked about the size of it. We have 25,000 square feet of meeting space. We have everything from our great hall, which can accommodate, it's about 3,800 square feet. So when a guest arrives into the conference center, they come right into this great hall, which is it's glass, steel, very modern architecture. It's really impressive when they first walk in. Now, we can have events in that grand atrium. We have our big computer wall so that guests, events can have their logo. They can have different types of PowerPoints and things going on there. But it's a very welcoming environment. They can then move into the Great Hall. In the Great Hall, we can accommodate, from a reception standpoint, up to 700 people. Or if we're doing sit-down meals, we can accommodate about 450. So it's a large space, but that space can be broken up into smaller components. So if somebody has an event, let's say that has 100 people, we can make it as intimate as we need it to be, or it can be as large as it needs to be. We also have our auditorium, which has 135 classroom seats. So if you have a lecture or any kind of a presentation that needs to be made, that is a perfect space for that. We also have different size conference rooms, so we can accommodate anything from small boardroom up to classroom style up that can accommodate, say, 26 people, something like that. And different layouts. We can do classroom style, we can do U-shaped. So we can really accommodate anything that any kind of logistics that an organization might need for their event. So we have that. Separate from that, we do catering in-house. And so we have an amazing catering staff. So any kind of a dietary need that somebody has, if there's something specific they're looking for, if they have dietary restrictions, anything, whether it's plated, buffet, reception style, box lunches, 5-course dinner, we can accommodate any of that as well. And then separate from that, of course, we've got the technology. We have state-of-the-art network, and then our IT staff can handle any kind of technology needs that a organization might have. And so that's wonderful. But at the end of the day, I think what really sets the conference center apart is our staff. It's, again, going back to that passion and commitment to making sure that whatever it is that an organization might want for their event, for their guests, we not only meet that, but we exceed that. And that's really important to my entire team.
I've been here just a little over a year and definitely seen that level of commitment, that it's not, this is not just a job. This is not just some job for the team at the conference center. It's
definitely
very, very
not.
important. So like we said up top, you have big shoes to fill stepping in after Leslie had been here for so long. And I'm sure you're still figuring some of this out, having only been here almost 2 months at this point. But what is sort of your overarching vision for the Institute Conference Center? What are those things you hope to build on, those things you hope to change, to improve, or in those things that you hope to build on? Sure.
Well, something that's always important to me in any position that I have, but it was very important when I was coming here, is just like the IALR has we have our mission. I wanted to have a mission for kind of what I'm looking for, or for my vision, right, for the next several years. And I actually have it written out because it's something that I want to have at my desk at all times to remind me kind of where I want to go. So I'd like to read that to you if you're good with that. Basically, what I want to do is I want to be able to utilize a comprehensive growth strategy that will position the conference center as a dynamic hub for business, innovation, and collaboration in the region, therefore driving economic development and fostering community engagement. So that's kind of where I want to see. That's where I'm constantly reaching for and heading towards. And then, of course, the strategies that go along with that. How do we get from where we are right now, to that next level?
I think that's cool that, what you're talking about, having that overarching mission to make sure that everything you're doing is supporting that. And I think working here, it's very clear that, at our staff meetings, Telly will give people money if they can recite our mission statement. That idea that, that is important to have where you're going in the front of your mind at all times. So I know you're still figuring this out, but talk to us a little bit about some of those strategies that you're already beginning to look at that will help you reach that goal.
Sure. I mean, the big thing is obviously about marketing and getting the word out there. Letting people know throughout, not just throughout Virginia, but throughout the U.S., that we have this amazing conference center, that we have the ability to handle these large events. Why should people come to Danville? Why should people come to Pennsylvania County? And so it's about getting that word out there. So from a marketing standpoint, it's a matter of being out there, all the different tourism organizations, and really pounding the pavement, letting people know what a great gym we have here. So part of it is that. Part of it is then bringing in speakers and conferences and that the outside communities they're going to want to come in and be a part of. So it's really kind of a twofold type strategy, not only going out there and proactively, letting people know who we are, but then also bringing them in so they can see as well.
And you mentioned towards the beginning, that we can do all kinds of events. We've had events, even in the last few weeks, where there's hundreds and hundreds of people in the Great Hall, and then sometimes it's, someone renting out a conference room like the one we're in right now just for, a day-long training or a day-long meeting. Does that make us unique? How does that set us apart compared to other event venues?
It does, because we can accommodate anybody. Obviously up to 700 people. Right. But with that even being said, the whole building, we can accommodate more than that. Mm-hmm. And so it's really a matter of, we can be as large or as small as any organization needs us to be. And that makes it different, because a lot of times you'll have, convention centers, let's say, that have the big space, but then if you have a 30-person event, a 40-person event, they feel lost, right? So we're able to not only, handle those big events, but then we can downsize it to any size that needs to be, whether we have it in the Great Hall or we utilize one of our other classrooms, mm-hmm. our auditorium, our atrium. Mm-hmm. So we really are customizable, and I think that's what makes a huge difference for us.
And even, I'm thinking back to, I know you weren't here at that time, but I think the CEA Summit is a great example where basically every space we have is mm-hmm. used in different ways. So talk to us about, even for those big events, how can we combine, or as you say, customize mm-hmm. all of our spaces to fit together? Of
course. So a lot of times when you have, let's say, a big conference, you're going to have maybe a big space where you're going to have maybe their meals, a keynote speaker. You're going to have events like that. But also along with say, a big conference, is you're going to need the smaller spaces as well, where maybe you're going to have breakouts, maybe you're going to have smaller meetings. And so you need to be able to have not only the big space to accommodate the group, but then also the small breakouts. And we're able to accommodate that in so many different ways based on all the different spaces that we have.
For the Institute for Advanced Learning and Research, our mission statement is to be a regional catalyst for economic transformation. And I would say that our impact is definitely beyond regional at this point, but that's our overarching mission statement. How does the work that the conference center does, how does what you all do, how does that fit into that mission statement and support the work of every other division here?
Sure. And the best way I can describe it is I like to say that, if you imagine a wheel, we are the hub of that wheel. So the spikes that kind of come off that hub would be our different divisions. So that would be advanced learning, that would be applied research, manufacturing advancement, and economic development. But they all touch us here at the conference center. And give you some examples. When we have economic development, when they are maybe bringing in prospects and they want to showcase everything that can be done here in Southern Virginia in the Danville area, they bring their prospects here to the conference center and host their meetings here. Because we showcase very well, it shows what Southern Virginia can do. And so that works really well for them. In addition to that, for like advanced learning, for instance, during the summertime, we have different types of summer camps and events going on for them. For manufacturing advancement, when they have presentations that they need to do or executives that need to come in, they come here to the conference center. So we really touch point all of the different divisions. We're there to support them and to be a partner with them. And then likewise, we all work together.
Right. Mm-hmm. No, and I think that's really cool to see. And then obviously, for that economic transformation point, we're bringing people into the into the Danville area, into the economy, mm-hmm. both from a local standpoint and from a regional standpoint. Mm-hmm. So it's very important. Right. And to circle back to something you said earlier about that marketing, and you mentioned the idea of it's not just people from around here. Do mm-hmm. you feel like there's more of where does there need to be more of a push, or where, as far as the education goes, do people here know that we're here, or is your push going to be more trying to get those bigger groups from outside of the area, or is it some of both?
It's probably a little bit of both, but I feel that, within say an hour perimeter, people are familiar with the Institute. Mm-hmm. We have been here for 20 years, so there is that recognition. What I'm looking for is further out from that. If somebody's looking to do a big conference and they're looking for something maybe a little bit different, bringing them out here. We have the riverfront. We have, the different things that we here in the community mm-hmm. that would be wonderful for people from out of town. But then also the conference center being able to accommodate everything that they need as well. Mm-hmm. So those are the type of groups that I'd like to start really promoting, getting in here, showcasing what we can do. Because once we get them in, all I have to do is get them in through our front door. As soon as they walk into that atrium, they're sold. Because it's beautiful. And I hear that time and time again when guests come in. In fact, just the other day, I was down there at the atrium, and I heard somebody walk in, and they literally said, "Wow, this is beautiful." So once I get them here to the door, they're sold. Once my staff talks to them, they're sold for life.
Right. So that's an interesting point, that the sales pitch is to get them in the door. It's not
Absolutely.
It sounds like once they're in the door, it's an easy
It's
sell.
an easy sell for us. We have everything that they could possibly want.
Well, Tracy, that's all the questions that I have. I mean, like I said at the beginning, I think, you stepping into this role now, filling those big shoes that Leslie left behind, I think clearly you have the experience and the passion to continue to grow what the conference center has already done. But I mean, is there anything else that you would want to add, or anything else that you think it's important that people know?
Just, if you haven't had the opportunity to come out to the conference center, we are open to having people come in and tour it. Once you're here, you will absolutely fall in love, and we'll tell your friends about it.
Absolutely. Well, thanks for being here. We really appreciate it.
Thank you so much for the opportunity.
Megabytes, IALR's on-site cafe, features everyday favorites, convenient ordering options, and an eager staff ready to welcome and serve you. Our enticing menus offer something for everyone, from a fresh, well-stocked salad bar, wraps, sandwiches, and our rotating hot buffet offered on Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday. Megabytes is open Monday through Friday from 9:15 a.m. until 1:30 p.m. To view menus and for more information, visit IALR.org/megabytes.